So let's talk about simplifying fractions. We want to simplify fractions. We're going to take this example here, our example of 14 slices of pizza, right? And we have 14 slices of pizza, and we know we only have to subtract the numerators. 14 minus 12, we can leave the denominators the same. If we do 14 minus 12, we're going to end up with 2 over 14. But when you look at that, you automatically know, hey, that could be simplified. We could do more to simplify that. And if you take a look at it real close, you'll notice that the numerator and denominator have something in common. They both have 2 as a factor, right? So they have something in common. And inherently, you're probably thinking, I could do something to simplify this. Well, let's talk about factors and how we can think about the greatest common factor as a way to simplify fractions and to simplify this fraction in particular. So I look at our answer, 2 over 14, and I know they have something in common. I look at them, and we look at factors of 2. So when we think about a factor is simply a number that's multiplied by another number to get a result. So you have just about every number obviously has 1 times itself, and you can get a result. So you have 1 times 2, and you can get the result of 2. And obviously that's what a prime number is. When you have the number itself and you multiply it times 1, if that's the only factor that a number has and is considered to be prime, when the factors are itself and 1. But many other, so 2 is a prime number, because really the only factors you have of 2 is 1 times 2 and you get 2. But then also when we look at the number 14, we obviously have 1 times 14, as we know, that's going to equal 14. Any number's going to have that. But then also we have 2 times 7. Those are also factors of 14. And so when we think about it, they have something in common. So when we think about factors, what a factor is, it simply is one number that's multiplied by another number to get a result. So if I look at this particular example, we have 14 times 2. 14 times 2 gives us the result of 28. And by the way, the result of 28 can also be called a multiple, which we'll talk about in a later lesson, a later discussion. This is also called a multiple. And you do something with that as well as it relates to fractions. But let's just think about factors for right now. So 14 times 2, they are factors. 14 and 2 are factors of 28, which is the result when you multiply them together. So if we look back at our example of simplifying this fraction, we have 2 over 14. And this could be simplified to 1/7. So how does that work? So we know, going back to look at the factors that we have, we know 14 has a factor of 1 and of 14, and of 2 and of 7. Those are factors of 14, right? Numbers that you can multiply together to get 14. And then when we look at 2, the number 2, the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. And so when we look at this, the number 2 is a common factor for both 2 and 14, and it's the greatest, it's the largest common factor they have. So in order to simplify a fraction, if you can look at both of the numerator and denominator, and you look at the greatest common factor they have, that's greatest common factor, and you can go ahead and divide the numerator by that factor, divide 2 by 2, that's going to give you 1, and divide the denominator by that factor. In this case, we'll divide 14 by 2, and that's going to give us 7. So in other words, we have 1/7 of our pizza left, if you will. If we had 14 different slices and we only have 2 left, we have 1/7 left. And that's one way you can look at using a greatest common factor to help simplify fractions.